Hey everyone, welcome back. Sorry I was off for a couple weeks there, well, I was off from videos. I've been busy building. And just basically taking apart the center console that I'd done some dry fitting on, see how things are going together. It's kind of the name of the game. You put a few things together, see how it looks, make sure it's right, take it apart, finish a few things, and move on from there. So, I'm just working on getting some things tidied up here. The rear or the seat belts for the front section there, the side skins basically made the bolts inaccessible, or you just couldn't really get a wrench in there or anything like that. So I opened the section up there a little bit so that I had a better access to the bolts, and then got the seat belts tightened down because that needed to get done. So the next thing I wanted to work on, or at least I needed to work on, was getting the brake lines squared away here. I had to rerun a new brake line on the left side of the plane because of the position that I've chosen to put the Behringer braking mechanism here. So, in looking at the Behringer, the marketing materials actually got the best layout. So I've got one actuator, the dampener, the parking brake, and then the regular brakes. So this is the best view of it. I've X'd out the parts that don't matter. The brake reservoir, the master cylinder, says it needs to be mounted, to the actuator basically. But more importantly, one of the things it says is that the reservoir should not be installed close to the engine and should be inside the cockpit. The way that mounts is like these pictures here, but that's not going to work with the brake quadrant being in the handle. These are really meant to go as toe brakes. So, and that's the actual parking brake right there. If you look in the center console, just to the right of where I'm torquing that valve there, that's where the parking brake goes. And then the dampener just needs to go in line with the system. So when you're looking at the channels there that I've got, the brake dampen or the parking brake is closest to the bottom screen where my left hand is at, and then the dampener is next to that, and then the brake reservoir, the fluid reservoir, is just next to that. This is the best spot that I've found to put this in the airplane. I didn't want to put the brake reservoir on the inside of the firewall because I would have put it in the forward section of the airplane. And you'll see here in a little bit how difficult it is to get into that section. This is just basically under the rear seat section, and there was an opening where there was just nothing in that area. The brake reservoir and the dampener are in the same space as where I chose to put the transponder mount point. So they're sharing some space, but the transponder is on the outside of the airplane, and I have access to the mounting screws if I need it. Torquing these is a bit of a challenge, but I got what I think pretty good at putting the brake lines together. The stainless steel is you just basically cut off the end and fray it out a little bit, and then put a grommet or a bushing inside of that, and then you pull up the base and screw it to the top. Once that's done, it's not too bad, and then you got to torque it up. So you can see the brake reservoir sitting there. What I wound up doing is I found a three-way mount that uses the banjo bolts, and the theory on this is that the fluid reservoir will feed into the brake line as the diagram at the beginning there shows. And what I thought was interesting, and I mean I don't know a whole lot about this, but when I was talking with the Behringer guys about it, the brake system is a sealed system. So once you basically bleed the brakes out, then there should be no additional bleeding or any other, like the overflow valve, that you would need to do. So if you look at the Matco brake, there's a brake fluid reservoir that actually sits forward of the firewall, and that's where I think the excess resides at. So in this particular case, once you bleed it out, then it's just a sealed system. So it should work out okay. I mean, proof will be in the pudding, but if I have to move that reservoir into the center console, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do at that point in time, because there's one, no room, and two, it sits on the side, so it's going to be a big mess. So cross your fingers. Here I'm just running the extra lines that I need. I'll terminate these at a later time, because I still have to get the center console all squared away. These just ran forward of the flap actuator there, and they'll come up from underneath. So I have no idea if that's going to work, but we'll find out. I'm adding on the rear vent at the foot section here. I don't have the Y adapter yet. I'm still working on that, but I wanted to at least get these run so that that part's taken care of. What I did is I just ran them so that there's enough slack in there so that the larger 2-inch scat tube and the 1-inch are able to intersect, and I'll trim things down as I need to go. Since I got the brake lines all squared away, I'm getting close to where I can start putting that the rear foot area together. I just doing some dry fitting here, seeing how things are going to come together, and making sure that I've got everything lined up correctly. I'm missing a couple parts for that the instrument panel cover, but I just set that into place and wanted to see how it goes. A lot of this is just put it together, see how it fits, make sure that I've got everything out of the way, and it all goes together correctly. So and maybe a little bit of dreaming there. So anyway, it's time to start getting the instrument tray and all of that finalized, because I'm real close on that here. What I'm doing here is I've got a couple of rub points, and I've got some thicker rubber that I'm putting in place and just zip tying it on so that it doesn't rub up against or rub through the scat tube there. And I needed to get the actual tray riveted together. Up until this point in time, it's just been Clecoed into place, because after I get this done, then it'll be time to put the instruments together and see how that comes together there. So this went together pretty quickly. So short video this time, but I've got a couple more that'll come in. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and hope if you haven't subscribed, please do. If not, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.